Welcome everybody, welcome to Facebook Live and welcome to Beyond Boosted Posts, another in our online education series designed to help small businesses navigate their way through Facebook advertising. Now my name's John Kennedy O'Connor. I'm really excited to be back here as your host. Welcome back to everybody who's joining us again, but a particularly warm welcome to everybody who's joining us for the first time. We've had a global audience for these courses so far and it's great to see so many of you joining us again today. Now, who is this course for? Well, we're here to help you navigate your way through Facebook advertising with the ultimate goal of helping you grow your business. Now, if you're a small business owner, and by that we mean any kind of small business in any kind of sector, so whether you're a solo entrepreneur, whether you've already developed your core team, or whether you are a brand new startup, this is the course for you. And it's going to help you learn and develop the skills you'll need for Facebook advertising, and you're all very, very welcome today. Now in today's lesson, we're going to have a pre-recorded video, which is how to reach the right audience. And then we'll be back here live in the studio with a question and answer session of our Facebook expert. And today I'm really excited to welcome Liz Fishbeck as our Facebook expert. Now, once we've seen the video, we'll have a live Q&A session here in the studio. So jump into the comment section that you'll see just to the right of the screen. Introduce yourself, let us know where you're joining us from in the world, and take your opportunity to post any questions that you have that you would like answered while we're live on air. You'll also find other people in there in similar sectors, in similar businesses of similar size, and they will have similar challenges and they will have found similar solutions. So make sure you join that community, and we'll get to as many questions as we can while we're live on air. But don't worry if we don't get to yours. There is a wonderful team of Facebook experts behind the screens, and they will be behind the scenes, I should say, and they will be answering questions even after we've gone off air. Also in the comment section, after the live broadcast, we'll be posting all the links and tools you need to help you grow your business and all the relevant information. And if you miss anything, don't worry. You'll be able to watch this course again anytime in the next 7 days. And we'll also be posting into the comment section details of upcoming courses, because we're going to be here pretty much every Tuesday and Thursday from now all the way through until the end of March. So if you miss anything, there will be courses in the future, and we'll put all of those links to the upcoming events into the comment section. So without any further ado, here's Samantha with today's lesson, how to reach the right audience.
Hi everyone. Like many busy small business owners, I'm sure you have a lot going on. So thank you for choosing to spend part of your day with us. Today's lesson, Reaching the Right Customers, is perfect for any small business owner. Whether you sell products locally or online, whether you have a restaurant or a service business, or even if you have a nonprofit, that's okay, because this lesson is for anyone looking to improve their digital marketing skills on Facebook. When Facebook ads become part of the strategy for achieving your goals, we've found that many small business owners have a lot of questions about finding the right group of people, also described as a target audience for their ads. I know the kinds of questions you're probably dealing with because I've been in your shoes. As a previous small business owner, I know what it feels like to wear a lot of hats, and that's why I'm here today to help. First, let's define a target audience. It's a group of people you want to reach with your ad. Maybe you have a store that sells fashion to women, so you want to reach women in a certain age range who are interested in fashion in your local city. Perhaps you have an online store that sells science fiction collectibles, so you want to reach people across the US who like science fiction. Today, we'll teach you how to create an audience of people more likely to be interested in your ad. Facebook optimizes many ad types for what you want to accomplish. So for example, if you boost a post, Facebook will look for people in your audience who are more likely to engage with it. If you want to get people to visit your website, Facebook will look for people in your audience who are most likely to do so. Before we walk you through creating an ad and defining the right people for your audience, there's actually a way you can find out basic information about people who are already engaging with your page and content. If you go to Insights at the top of your business page, you'll see a list of options to choose from, including people. Within people, you'll find gender, age, country, city, and language information about people you've reached or who have engaged with your business page. If you just created your page or it only has visitors from close family and friends, this section might not be very useful, but as you establish your presence on Facebook, you'll be able to leverage this tool to develop your advertising strategy. For today's lesson, we'll walk you through the ad creation process. The simplest way to create an ad is by clicking the blue Promote button on your page. From there, you'll have several types of ads available to you. We actually have another lesson called How to Choose the Right Type of Ad, which we'd love for you to join later. For the purpose of this lesson and this ad specifically, let's choose Get More Website Visitors. You can select an available age range up to 65 plus and put in just about any location, including one or more countries, states, cities, towns, and zip codes. Finally, you'll want to check out the detailed targeting section. This is a powerful tool that lets you get more specific with your audience by selecting from demographics, as well as interests and behaviors. Demographics gives you ways to target people based on their education, life events, job title, and more. Interests has a lot of options too, like types of movies, hobbies, shopping, and different kinds of sports. And in behaviors, you can target things like mobile device users, people who used to live in other countries, and people who like to travel. You don't have to just click through all those categories. You can use the search bar to see what's available. For example, a lot of sports fans are getting ready for baseball season in the US. So I can type in baseball and find not just the sport itself, but also Major League Baseball and professional baseball in Japan. Notice that when I choose an interest and then hover over it, it gives me information including the size of the category. 468 million people is a lot, but that's why you use the other audience tools to narrow down the audience size. Keep in mind that as you add items like interests to the detailed targeting section, Facebook uses an OR function, which in this case means Facebook will look for people who like baseball in general or a particular professional baseball league. Also note that someone only has to have one of those things connected to their profile to be eligible to see your ad, assuming they meet the gender, age range, and location parameters you specified. If your audience is too specific, Facebook may have a tough time showing your ad to people. And if it's too broad, you could end up spending money showing your ad to people who may not be interested in your business. And remember, the potential audience size shown here is just an estimate. How many of those people actually see your ad will depend on your budget, among other factors. There's one more thing to think about when creating your audience. Facebook is always changing, and your audience will change with it. As new people create accounts that match the criteria you set up, they'll automatically be added in your audience. When you're done, give your audience a name so you can save it for future ads. For example, I'll call this one Baseball Fans. And yes, you can create multiple audiences, which is useful if you have different kinds of customers. For example, a sporting goods store, whether online or local, could create an audience for each sport, as well as audiences for people interested in activities like hiking and camping. Or a clothing store that caters to women and men could create one audience for each gender. Then, you can have a different ad for each audience and speak directly to them with your text and image or video. Just be careful when you have multiple ads running at once. If their audiences overlap at all, you could hinder the performance of all the ads because they'll be competing against each other for attention in the newsfeed. Okay, so what if the detailed targeting section doesn't make a lot of sense for you because you have a coffee shop or a restaurant or another kind of business that casts a really wide net? In a situation like that, you're probably more focused on just getting people in your local area through the door, because you can use the Promote Your Business Locally ad type to do just that. You'll notice the audience section front and center. As long as you have a physical address on your business page, you can target local people in a radius of 1 to 50 miles around your location. How wide you want to make that circle depends on how far you think people will be willing to travel to get to your business. You might want the circle to be fairly small most of the time, but wider when you have something special going on. There's also a detailed targeting section available here too if you need it. Those are the basics on how to reach the right people with audience targeting. Okay, now it's time to put what you learned into practice. During this part of the lesson, I'm going to give you an exercise to think about before we start answering your questions. If you're not sure who might be potential customers, hopefully this will help. Look at the 3 parts of creating an audience the way it's shown on the screen here, including demographics, location, and interests. I'll give you a couple seconds to look this over and write down your thoughts. If your business casts a wide net, like I mentioned earlier, such as a coffee shop or restaurant, interests might not make sense for your audience, in which case you can leave that one blank. If you think defining a few interests might be helpful to develop your audience, but you're having a hard time thinking of relevant ones, here are some ideas. And remember, if all else fails, you can always test different ads. Testing is actually my favorite part. Here's how it works. Create one audience that's fairly broad with little or no detailed targeting, and another audience that's more specific. Then, run the same ad with each audience and see which one performs better. Just make sure if you run the ads at the same time that the audiences won't overlap or compete for performance. Every ad has a learning period. That means Facebook is spending time to figure out what kind of people in your audience are more receptive to your ad. It's really important that you not edit your ad for at least 1 week, because if you do, Facebook will have to start the learning period over again. All right, I know we covered a lot today, and I'm sure you have some questions. Before we move to Q&A, here are 3 takeaways from this lesson. Watch the meter as you create your audience so it's clearly defined. You can create multiple audiences for different kinds of customers. You can also test different audiences for each set of customers and compare the results. Also, don't forget to check out additional resources we've prepared for you, including notes from what we talked about today and free online learning courses. Are you ready with your questions? Let's join our host for that part of the show. And don't forget to check out our other lesson about how to choose the right type of ad.
Thank you very much indeed, Samantha. Welcome back, everybody. We're back live here in the studio. And this is your opportunity now to ask any questions that you like of our Facebook expert. And I'm really thrilled to welcome today's expert, who is Liz Fishbeck. And Liz is a small business marketing lead. Welcome, Liz. Welcome to Facebook Live.
Thank you so much. I'm really excited to be here today.
Well, it's great to have you. And as you see, we color coordinated for the set today, so we did well there.
Little workplace camo.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Liz. Tell us a little about, tell the audience a little bit about yourself and your role here at Facebook.
Yeah, I've been fortunate enough to be on a team where we talk to customers like you to understand what's going well and what are some pain points to improve our sales and marketing offerings. So if you have feedback for us, please leave it in the comment section.
Yes, definitely. And that's also where you can post your questions so that we get to as many questions as we can while we're live on air. Now, Liz, you are quite a long timer at Facebook. You've actually been here 11 years?
Yes. I've been fortunate enough to work at Facebook for 11 years, serving our customers of all different sizes, and really have been most energized serving our small business community. So that's why I'm so excited to be here today.
Well, we're very excited to have you here as well. We're really already feeling your excitement. Now, as I said, the comment section is just to the right of the screen. This is where you can post your questions. Let us know where you're joining us from in the world, but please take this opportunity. We're going to be live for the next few minutes, and we'll get to as many questions as we can while we're live on air. But don't worry, even if we don't get to yours, we do have a team of Facebook experts behind the scenes, and they will be answering the questions that we didn't get to while we're off air. But I can see lots of questions are coming in. So, Liz, if you're ready, we'll just dive straight in.
Perfect.
The first question that we've had come in is, how will I know when it's time to transition from posting to advertising? And what benefits will I get from advertising?
Yeah, this is really important. When should I feel ready to advertise? When does it make sense? Mm-hmm. And it's important that before you start advertising, you feel confident in that you have a service that's targeted to a certain customer base. So do you have a target audience in mind? And then from there, are you ready to grow awareness about your brand? Are you ready to spread the word, get people interested? And are you open to getting new customers, new potential customers? And if those are true, then it absolutely makes sense to consider investing in paid marketing. And many of us wonder what the benefits of investing in marketing are. And with Facebook, when you start posting, you are typically reaching people on your page or friends, or if your mom liked your page, that's always really sweet, right? But when you want to go to that next wave and get potential new customers, by advertising, you unlock targeting, which allows you to get to specific people that are not already connected to your page. So it's really about expanding to new customers.
And I know from the Facebook app that actually using those tools to make that transition is very, very straightforward. It's very simple.
Yes.
So people shouldn't be nervous of that at all.
Yes.
Well, great. Another question that's just come through. I'm hosting an event at my retail store. Who should I target to attend?
Yeah. Always want to start with, what is my business trying to do? So if I am a women's clothing boutique, say I'm located here in Menlo Park, which is where Facebook headquarters are today, I will need to think about who is going to come to my store, who are my clothing items designed for. So in my case, it would be women. And is there a certain age range that I was designing for? So let's say, it's women 35 to 65. So I would set a radius of people who are likely to come to my store. I would think about if it's targeted towards women, and then I would go for the age. And so all of that can be done through our detailed targeting. And it is really important to think through the targeting in detail.
Oh, obviously. And of course, that doesn't just apply to retail clothing. It could apply to any retail, whatever is your product.
Yeah, I like to say that we have some of the best targeting out there. So that's very true.
Now, I had a question specifically about boosted posts. And one of the questions is boosted posts versus an ad. What's the difference?
Yeah. So what is the difference between boosting and advertising? Well, a boost is an advertising mechanism because you are paying to put your content or your brand or your offer out to more potential customers. So they're really very similar. However, the boost concept is typically done from the mobile phone. It's a great way to get started, and it's very quick. And then there is a whole host of other features and capabilities in something that's called the Ads Manager. So if you want to get started rather quickly, the boost is a great option. And then the Ads Manager, as you get more advanced and you want to spend more time, then I would recommend that you go there.
Fantastic, great answer. Well, we've got a lot of questions coming through to the chat room, so thank you so much to everybody who's joining us today. This is your opportunity to ask a question of our wonderful expert, Liz Fishbeck. She's a small business marketing lead here at Facebook, and we'll get to as many questions as we can while we're live on there. So let's just move on to our next question. I'm wondering how I measure my ads, how my ads are doing. In other words, how do I define my success?
Yes, so very important to measure your ads when you're creating them. When you set up your ads, you're going to select an objective. So let's say you are a restaurant and you want people to come to your location. So you will set up a local ad, and we will report on how many people within that audience saw your ad. Or if you are a retailer and you are trying to sell something online, you might install what we call the Pixel, and that will track people who are on your website making purchases. And so when you go back to the reporting, we will show you how many people purchased after seeing your ad. So it's really about selecting the right objective, and then Facebook will report on that outcome that you're trying to achieve. And of course, targeting, super critical as you're thinking about what objective.
So it's very, very simple through the tools that are available to define your success and see how far your ad has reached.
Yes.
Absolutely. Well, wonderful. How do you advertise to people without making them feel like they are just being advertised at? I mean, targeting is obviously a very descriptive word, and people do sometimes feel they are being targeted.
Yes. It's important to think about as far as, yes, you want to know what messages might resonate with your target customer and what approach is going to work. If the target customer has never heard of your brand, most likely, then you'll want to educate them on who it is you are, what benefits you provide to them, and why they should consider you for, their next clothing purchase or their next dining excursion. So really educating that customer, driving that awareness. Now, if people are familiar with your brand or offering, then you can start selling them on the different options that you have for them. Once we know they're a little bit more interested and they've considered your brand, or we know they're trying to go out to dinner that night, then that's where you would use more of that hard sell messaging.
Well, we're here with Liz Fishbeck, a small business marketing lead at Facebook. She's our expert for today, and she's answering questions about how to reach the right audience when you're using Facebook advertising. Please jump into the comment section. You'll see it just to the right of the screen, and let us know any questions that you have. This is a great opportunity to have a direct line straight through to a wonderful Facebook expert. Moving on, because you've got so many questions coming through. This one is, someone told me that a broad audience is better than a specific audience. When should I target broad, and when should I be more specific?
Yeah, the whole, one of the main takeaways I want each and every one of you to have is that it's really important to define your target audience. And if you have a very broad offering, let's say you're a restaurant, many people like to dine out, and that would be more of a broad offering. Everybody needs to eat. So you could say that anyone is your potential customer within your town. But if it's really specialized, something like a sci-fi goods website. That is a much more specialized offering that is going to have more of a limited number of people who are interested. So you'd want to specify, different comic books and movies and things that these people are interested in. So again, it's going to depend on what you're trying to do and what sort of offering you have to figure out how broad or specific you need to be.
Well, we've got a question that's come in about actually testing, and this question is, could you give us an example of how to test different audiences for a service-based business?
Yeah, let's say I am an accountant. Tax season is around the corner. Let's say I'm an accountant and I have business customers and I have individual customers. So I'd want to think about, in this case, what are there different segments of customers that I deal with and that I want to have more of. So I would design one segment going after business owners and people who need their taxes done for business. And then for the individuals, I would build a list and interests off of that. So then I would use the Facebook ads to see, can I get more of one type or another? And then if I see that I have much more success finding potential customers in the business space, I would invest more of my paid marketing dollars towards that customer segment. And maybe I would revisit this other segment later.
Great advice. Well, let me just remind you that today's topic is how to reach the right audience, and our Facebook expert is Liz Fishbeck, a small business marketing lead. And this is for any small business owners out there who are looking to use Facebook advertising and how to find that right audience. So let us know your questions, let us know any concerns or challenges that you've experienced so far. We'll get to as many as we can while we're live on air. But the chat room is actually on fire right now. We've got so many questions coming in, so thank you for all of your questions. The next one coming through is, how would you recommend I target for a bed and breakfast?
Oh, awesome. I love traveling, so this one is near and dear to my heart, and maybe I'll go to your bed and breakfast. So again, you'd want to think about where is your, what type of target customer are you going after? Is this more of an upscale price point, or is this a lower cost option for customers? Think about what benefits and amenities, what's the experience like, and then from there, I would figure out, again, what are the ages of my typical guests? Where do they live? You can target people based on their location. I would think about any hobbies, like if you are, say, near golf amenities, you might want to highlight that in your copy. So you really want to think about who it is that's coming to your B&B, who do you want to get to your B&B, and use that detailed targeting and those interests to find more people that are similar to that.
And a follow-on question from that is, because people are also asking about when they are when they're using their target audience, they talk about the text they have to use, and some are saying, how do I know if I'm using too much text, and what is the best use of text?
Yeah, so writing good copy that hooks people in is really important, because that is what someone will see when they see your ad. They will see the image and they will see the copy, and so it is critical that, again, I come back to who is your customer. So you want to make sure that you're thinking about what the benefit is to them. And you can test different versions. There might be a long version that explains a couple things, and there could be something really short and simple, but you need to test those against that target customer to see which one works better for Facebook.
And moving away from text advertising, because the next question actually is very specifically about video. Do video ads perform better than static ads?
It's really going to depend on what you're trying to do with your campaign. Video tends to be a more immersive experience, and if you're trying to tell a story, like if you are that B&B owner, showing a video of your grounds might be really interesting, or showing if people are considering booking, maybe showing a video of the best suite and the amenities could be one way to do it. And a static image can also tell a story, but it is one snapshot, as opposed to a video can tell that longer story. So it depends on what you're trying to do.
Great advice. Well, thank you so much, Deed, for all of your questions so far. We are here today learning how to reach the right audience with our Facebook expert, Liz Fishbeck. Liz is a small business marketing lead with Facebook. My name is John Kennedy O'Connor. I'm your host for this particular series. I'm really thrilled to have you here, and thank you so much for all of your questions. This is a great opportunity to ask questions of Liz, so please take advantage of this. We've got so many coming through, and this next ad has come through. Can you target ads to people who fit into multiple interests? So, for example, like cats and cleaning, rather than cats or cleaning.
Yes. So if you were trying to target an ad to people that like different interests, the way that you would do that is when you're in the detailed targeting selector, you type in those two interests, and we will try to find people that are either in that cats bucket or that cleaning bucket. We don't have the ability to combine it, but we will do our best to find people that have those interests, so you can reach them.
So that's very easy to do. Another question, should we see better results as an ad campaign continues? How long should we take before we see this shift?
Yes, there is something that people should know about Facebook ads, which is they go through a learning phase. And what that means is Facebook is using the targeting that you have set up to identify people who are most likely to be potential customers. And that takes a little bit of time to get right. It takes a couple days. And the question was how long it should run?
Yes, how long should it run, and how long before I will begin to see a shift?
Oh, yes. So we recommend about a week to see better performance. And again, the more you run the ads and you continuously refine, the better the performance will be, because you will learn more about what sort of ads resonate with your target customer. Like if we go back to the different interests, if you find that 1 week you're not seeing some results, or you're seeing great results, you might add some other interests and try something else. So I'd say 1 week minimum.
Now, you did mention, Liz, earlier on that we are getting into tax season for all those small businesses out there, but we're also, because the spring is coming up, getting into wedding season. And here's a really interesting question. Who would you advise I target as a wedding officiant for weddings?
Yes. So wedding officiant, if you are open, it depends on how far you're willing to travel, because my understanding is most weddings take place in person, so you'd want to.
I hope so.
Though there may be some weddings that are taking place in the comments right now, I don't know. But you're probably going to travel somewhere, so you want to figure out, how far are you willing to travel. And then what's really great about Facebook is there is the ability to target people that are engaged. And so you can target those people with your message about what benefits to them. If you are their officiant, what are they going to get? If you're comedic, or if you are, very religious, you'll want to talk about the type of ceremonies you offer, and then go from there. But I would really think about how far you're willing to travel, what style you have, and then target those engaged people.
Well, just to remind everybody that we are here talking about how to reach the right audience, and this is specifically designed for small business advertisers, and that means any small business of any size, or even if you're just starting out as a startup. But one of the questions that's come through to the chat room, of course, is about budget, and small businesses are probably going to have limited resources, so they're asking, does spending more money mean better results, or carefully choosing the right audience work better?
I would say both are true.
Okay.
As you get started and you have a limited budget, it is really critical that you think about that target audience. So again, who am I trying to attract as a potential customer to my business? And you'll want to start with an audience that you feel most confident in. So if I am that tax accountant and I really know that business clients are my best clients, let's start there. And then if we can see results there, we can play around and unlock the individual customer. But I would start with, who do you know are your best customers? Let's try to find more like that. And then as you find success there, then you can start venturing out to new audiences. So yes, I am a believer that the more you invest, the more potential dividends and results you can see. But really, at any point, be very diligent about how you're spending that money and who you're targeting.
But it's certainly going to give you the results that you can unlock.
Yes.
That's definitely true.
Yes.
Well, following on from that, as you were saying there about targeting specific groups, can you target people in a specific Facebook group?
You cannot target people in a specific Facebook group. Now, you can imagine why, if there were sort of competing groups or different we wouldn't want somebody to steal members from one group and put them in their own. However, you can target people that are interested in something. So dog lovers, right? There's probably a lot of really active dog lover groups on Facebook. So you can target them using the detailed targeting and the interest targeting. But no, we don't want you fishing for other members of other groups.
Which makes perfect sense. Yeah. Now, just to remind you, this course is how to reach the right audience. Thank you so much for all of your questions. We'll get to as many questions as we can while we're live on air. But don't worry if we don't get to yours, because there is a wonderful team of Facebook experts behind the scenes, and they'll be answering questions once we go offline. And this course will be available to watch again for another 7 days. But we've had some great questions coming through. This one is, how many interests and behaviors would you recommend using in the detailed targeting section?
Yeah, that is a really interesting question, because there's so many that you can choose from. I would go back to this concept of watching the meter. So again, if your ads are, going to reach too few people based on that one interest you have entered, or maybe you've already entered a handful of interests, we want you to add more so that way we get that meter to more of a well-defined audience. So it's really hard to pinpoint an exact number, but I would really encourage you to watch the meter.
Good sense. How long should it take to create an audience and an ad in general?
Yeah, we're wondering how much time should I be investing in building and managing my Facebook ads. There is going to be a little bit of upfront time to set up your targeting, upload images and videos that you want to use, and think about what sort of text and copy you want to use in your ads. That will take a little more time up front as you're getting started, but you can save all of your audiences, you can save all the images and videos and the text, so as you start building more ads or wanting to refine your ads, it will be much quicker. So a little bit of configuration time and then faster from there.
Well, unfortunately, we have come to the end of our live broadcast, so we have just one last question. But I do want to remind everybody that this program will be available to watch for the next 7 days, and we will be answering questions we didn't get to once we've gone offline. And also, please remember, you can share this video with anybody that you think will benefit from this, whether it's somebody in a small business or whether it's on your Facebook page. Definitely send them the link so they get a chance to watch this. So our final question is, can I edit a saved audience?
Oh yes, you absolutely can. We know that it's important to be able to make adjustments as things go on, so you can do that for sure.
Well, Liz, thank you so very much for joining us at Facebook Live today. It's been really wonderful. I think your energy and your excitement about your particular specialty has really come across to the audience. But is there anything you'd like to share as a lever and takeaway? Absolutely.
Targeting is essential to your success, so I would really encourage you to learn more about the targeting, and best of luck.
Well, best of luck indeed. So thank you so much for everybody who's joined us today. We had a truly global audience. Again, thank you so much for all of your questions. Thank you for all of your comments. Please remember to share the link for this course with anybody that you think will benefit from it. You will be able to watch again live for the next 7 days. As a reminder, you can get more information about these particular courses at facebook.com/business/learn. Now, we're going to be back on Thursday, March the 5th, with another Facebook expert. And on that occasion, we'll be teaching how to choose the right type of ad. Thanks so much for joining us. Bye-bye.